Good day, everybody. This is the Coach Shannon Griffith, and welcome to the Hoosier Tailgate here on thehoosier.com. As you can see, I'm in my car as I am getting ready to call the semi-state, or check that, state final game for the Bishop Dwenger Saints versus the Roncalli Rebels at Lucas Oil Stadium. Got out of West Lafayette this morning in the middle of a blizzard, and right now in Indy, there is no snow, but it's coming. Wanted to let you know last night we apologize that we couldn't bring you a post-game show. It was a lot longer post-game press conference. As you can imagine, the Hoosiers were celebrating in the locker room, and I don't think they were all too excited about getting to the presser. And how can you blame them? Indiana finishes 12-0 for the first time in program history, a new mark for the Curt Cignetti era, just 2 years. And if you remember back to his first time being named the Hoosier coach a couple of years ago, he did end up going to Lucas Oil and told Jerry DiNardo he wanted to come and get the lay of the land, since he felt that his Hoosiers will be there at the Big Ten championship game in a matter of a year. And he may have been off by one, but who cares? The Hoosiers get the big win last night over the Purdue Boilermakers and retain the Old Oaken Bucket, getting a monumental 56-3 win in a very cold night in West Lafayette. The game as itself, it started shaky for the Indiana offense, as Mendoza was not, I would say, on point, in the sense that his throwing was probably not as good as it has been. A lot had to do with the weather, the coldness, but he was also trying to force throws that he didn't need to force. Purdue actually dropped 3 potential interceptions within that first quarter. And so Indiana was lucky from that. The defense, what can you say about the Brian Haynes-led Indiana defense? Again, a very, very good performance. The only negative that you could potentially say is they did give up some 3rd and 10+ conversion downs, but a lot of that had to do with the rush that was getting home and even some of the pressures. But Ryan Brown was very elusive last night and got himself out of trouble on multiple occasions. But the Hoosiers do end up with getting another 2 turnover defensive takeaway performance, increasing their turnover margin to +17, which is the number 1 ranked turnover margin in the country. They now await for the winner of the Michigan-Ohio State game to determine who they may play. If Michigan would happen to win today and Oregon would beat Washington, then the Oregon Ducks would be the team that Indiana would face in the Big Ten championship game. If Oregon would lose that game and Michigan would win, then the Michigan Wolverines would make their trip to the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, Lucas Oil Stadium, a week from today. As far as the offense is concerned, last night, what made me, I guess you could say, a little more happy in terms of being a coach, in the months of November and December, if you're playing at this time of year, you have to be able to run the football. And Indiana did that again with an over 330 some odd yards rushing. Roman Hemby finally got loose. That kid has been so close so many times this year of breaking the big one. He did last night of 83 yards. And it was a phenomenal run, outrunning the Purdue Boilermakers secondary, who had the angle on him. He played phenomenal last night, as did Kaylon Black. You know, those 2 kids have been juggernauts, warriors for this Indiana offense. And they've done a yeoman's job in terms of running the football, and not always a clean look. And they've done what good running backs do. They make the offensive linemen right. And last night, they did that on multiple occasions. And Indiana, again, went over the 300-yard rushing in their offensive attack last night, which was great to see. Alberto Mendoza, another future quarterback, potentially taking over for Fernando, played the better part of the third and fourth quarter. He had a big run of about 60-plus yards. And Martin, the running back, the young pup, he had another touchdown. That kid is going to be dynamite. He has got everything and anything you would want out of a running back. He's got the toughness to bang it up in there, but he's also got the speed to break away. And excited to see where his future lies in that rushing attack for Indiana. As for Alberto, same thing. I do believe they have brought him along the correct way, and we'll wait and see what all transpires between the end of the season, which we hope is not for quite a while, until Alberto may get the keys to the caddy to take over for his brother if Fernando chooses to come out at the end of the year. Indiana now enjoying the next 24 hours and getting themselves prepared. Drew Evans dressed last night, did not play. I do hope he will be back for the Big Ten championship game. Surratt came in, did very well, doing Elijah Surratt things. He had a great touchdown. I think that gives him 11 on the year in just 10 games. I think that's leading the Big Ten in TD receptions. As for Omar Cooper, he did Omar Cooper things last night outside from blocking. He had a nice catch and a touchdown as well. And Indiana really dominated up and down the statistical board all over the field last night, and also won the field position battle as Indiana had short fields quite a lot. So you can say this for a fact that Indiana won the game and won that ball game by controlling every aspect on the field from A to Z and getting the bucket win and retaining the bucket back in Bloomington. Stay tuned for more coverage of this Indiana Hoosier football team. Monday night, I'll have a total recap of this game up in West Lafayette, talk about Indiana, and look at some of their video in terms of what they did well, what they still need to improve upon, because now the margins are going to be very narrow as you're going to play elite teams from this point forward. Big Ten championship game, whether it's Oregon, Michigan, or Ohio State, all three elite ball clubs, as well as Indiana, potentially, and I do believe, irregardless of what happens in the Big Ten championship game, will retain one of the top four spots to receive a first round bye. Texas A&M losing last night to Texas creates an interesting dynamic when you think of the Longhorns, ranked number 16 in the country. That win over number 3 Texas A&M last night, and coupled with the playoff committee really not holding the first game of the year against the Longhorns, almost as treating them as a 2-loss team, they could ultimately jump up into the fray. We'll have to wait and see what all happens, especially with that dynamic. Alabama and Georgia look to be going to the SEC championship game if Alabama can beat Auburn today. So a lot of things riding on to Saturday's afternoon ball games, and Indiana already slated to play in the Big Ten championship game next Saturday night in Lucas Oil Stadium. It will be an electric atmosphere. And one thing to the Hoosier Nation that showed up and showed out last night in Lafayette at Ross-Ade Stadium, let me tell you, it was felt and it was noticed by the Indiana Hoosiers, and it made a world of difference to those kids when they came to the field. And Indiana fans occupied about 2/3 of the east stands at Ross-Ade Stadium. Well, until Monday night, we'll get you all caught up on what we're looking at for next week. Remember, you can catch Jim Coyle, Sports Beat Radio, all next week, starting on Monday, as he recaps everything from his perspective. But for now, I'm the coach, Shannon Griffith. This has been the Hoosier Tailgate right here on thehoosier.com. Happy holidays, everybody, and we will see you Monday night.